Hey guys, I'm around a lot for Skype lessons right now. If you want one, shoot me your private message. But I figured I'd do something a little different other than just putting up some status, and I'm going to give you guys a little freebie lesson. If it's something you already know, then, sorry, maybe next time it'll be something, and good for you that you already know it. But here's a lick that I really like, and I'm going to play sort of an example of it for you, and then make it a little bigger than a lick and talk about other things you can do with it, because when I just try and play some other person's lick, I usually fall on my face anyways. I'm better off if I find my own way of interpreting it and lots of avenues that I can take it. So, here you go. You'll probably won't see my face too much more in this, if at all. But I'm going to play this lick in D, mixolydian. And here's the lick, and then I'll explain it. Okay, so what's going on there? Well, first off, there's sort of three ways of thinking of it that you stack on top of each other. First of all, I'm kind of thinking in these sort of chord shapes that we get used to when we have a sound that we really like. We find these little pockets of chords that we know will sound good. So like, there's a D chord, there's a C chord, there's a D shape, but it's actually a G chord, and then D and C again. So I'm thinking in those shapes, but I'm not playing all of them. I'm just playing these intervals of sixths that are contained with them. Alright? Alright? That's a really cool interval to use. It's very like country guitar sounding. It's very stylized towards that. Like very cool sound. So we're going to take it a little further than that, so it's maybe a little less predictable. This is kind of a cool thing I've heard organ players do a lot, and I really like to do it too, is that what I'm doing is, I'm taking this first note that I hit in each shape, and I'm going to use a little bit of chromaticism to approach it. So I'm going to approach it from two notes away. I'm going to go. Alright? Now, to get to this next shape down here, I'm not going to approach it from behind. I'm going to take this note that I'm already on and go back down to hit this note. So I'm going to go. Alright, now I'm going to do it again, except it lands on a slightly different type of a sixth. So I've got. Now one variation, speaking about how we could make it more than just one lick, take little fragments of it and you can loop them as much as you want. So then you find little like these riffs that you can ride out, or it's also a good kind of endurance exercise. I also, right now, I'm hybrid picking it, meaning whenever I play a note on the high E, I'm using my middle finger instead of my pick. Partially because I just haven't played a lot of guitar yet today and can't pick that fast yet. You know? And I like the sound of fingers too. So this is also kind of a byproduct, because this is maybe some hybrid picking strengthening. But let's keep going here. So far we've got this. Okay, so now I'm going to take this shape. We're going to do the same exact thing to get down here, which is, to me, is like an A minor shape. Alright? But just a couple notes out of that shape. So then we have this. Alright? Cool. So now you can find all sorts of other places to go with it. You can go upwards in mixolydian if you want. Now that one I only do one note because I don't want to approach it from. You could do that if you want though. That's actually kind of cool sounding. Alright. And another thing you can do, because what good is a scale if we can only play it in one situation, or one like harmonic situation? So we just learned it in mixolydian, but what if you're in another scale and you want to play that? So it's good to practice converting them to other sounds that you like. So let's say we want to, instead of mixolydian, let's say we want to redo that lick but make it so that it fits in D Dorian instead of D mixolydian, which is a minor scale with a raised sixth. Okay? So instead of this note won't work because that's a major third and Dorian has a flat 3. So it has to fit in these new shapes. Alright? So, for starters, to approach this first one, I'm just going to approach it with one chromatic note. Because I really don't want an E flat in there. I don't want it. It's not in the scale. You could play it if you wanted. Nobody's telling you not to, but I just don't want to. Okay, and then for this one, we already know that shape. And then we're going to do that. And you know, anytime you get tired of playing that lick, you can lock it into some other idea that you like, so that it's not this predictable, endless stream of this 6th idea. So you go, you know. So now let's apply it a little bit. I'm going to make a little loop and then jam over it for a second using those ideas. So, one other way that we can sort of tweak it, so when we first talked about this lick, we were in Mixolydian, right? Now, this loop's not in Mixolydian at all, it's in D Dorian, but if I know my modes really well, which is a whole other can of worms I'm not going to talk about right now, I know that if I'm in D Dorian, and I can play those ideas that I like in Mixolydian, then I know that G Mixolydian has the same exact notes as D Dorian. They relate back to each other. They're secretly kind of the same exact scale. So I can take that same Mixolydian idea and still use it. I just have to use it in a key that relates to D Dorian. So in this case, I could play G Mixolydian licks instead of D Mixolydian licks, because that won't work anymore. But I could use G ones. Or back to D again. Alright, one last cool thing I'm going to try doing with it is taking those chromatic approaches that are really cool, but using a little bit of bending. It's only a half step, it's easy to bend a half step, it doesn't take a lot of muscle, so why not try bending it? And it gives it this kind of weepy quality that's really cool. So instead of this, and there you have it. So there's a cool idea for you to mess with, or you already know it and I didn't teach you a thing and you just wasted your time, and I'm very sorry about that. But if you want a full lesson, send me a private message. It's a lot of fun. We get to sit around and talk about guitar. It's pretty cool. Have a good day, guys. Later.